Good morning, everyone out there in YouTube land. My name is Jared, and this is my channel, Mazda B3K. This video, we're going to introduce a new addition to my fleet, and we'll go over it, and we'll talk about it, and what we want to do with it. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, what you're looking at here is an Outdoors RV brand, CreekSide 20FQ camper, and we'll break all that down as we take kind of a look at the outside here. So the 20FQ, don't quite know what the FQ means, but the 20 refers to how long the living space is, which in this case is 20 feet. So it's going to have a lot of the things you would expect from a camper. I'm going to assume you have some familiarity with campers. If you don't, this should be a good video for you too, because I'm still pretty new to campers. But looking at the outside here, we've got, we can pull things still with it. We have a tow hitch. We got a pretty beefy rear bumper. Have an all-white exterior. We've got some LED brake light, tail lights. Have some marker lights up here. I don't know if we actually have reverse lights. I had an issue with my truck that I covered in a different video. I have since fixed the issue, but I haven't taken this thing anywhere since then. So on this side, you've got you got some windows. This is your main door, your main way in and out. You have some steps to help you walk up. These are not electromechanical, they're just mechanical. They swing in and out like so. You can just fold them up and then slide them in. And then when you need them, you unfold them. It's simple. I like it. And you may or may not have noticed each corner has a stabilization jack, which are called stab jacks for short. Nobody's in this right now, and it's not in its final resting place, so I don't have these deployed, but they are important for when you're wanting to stay. This thing's got 4 15-inch tires, 5 lug, holding it up. These actually are about 10 years old, but the previous owner took really good care of them, so they're not even dry rotted. I was able to go almost 1,000 miles on them, so sweet. Okay, so we have, I think that's an outdoor speaker up there. I still haven't quite gotten that working. But we also have, this exhaust vent. This is another exhaust vent. I think this is for the hot water heater. And the folks that we bought this from were kind enough to put this screen in place. You do this to make sure that dirt daubers and whatnot can't clog your exhaust, and then you die of carbon monoxide poisoning because this is powered by propane. We don't want that. We've got outdoor outlet, right? And there is an awning up here. It needs replacing. I'll show you that in a minute. It's getting worn out. Got a marker light, and then this is kind of neat. This is a port for additional solar. This does have a little itty bitty tiny solar panel on it that serves as a trickle charger for the batteries, which, take a look at those. Dun, 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 dun. So what's kind of neat here, see this guy? Open him up. Ta-da. All right, so this is some cargo storage here. And you'll see we've got really thick insulation actually into your actual living area. I mean, I'm still, when we get below freezing here, I am running the heat to make sure that my various tanks don't freeze. I don't want to crack a tank on accident. So inside of here, you have a battery disconnect, which, if you've never done RV stuff, this is to make sure that if you have any kind of a parasitic drain or draw on your batteries, you throw this master disconnect. It physically disconnects the batteries so they cannot be drawn upon, so you don't come back from doing whatever and then have no batteries, which would be bad. That's your iron for changing your tires. You get a little light in here, which is kind of nice. I'll leave that open. It's dripping on me. I don't like it. Got more lights here. You may be wondering what this stainless steel thing's all about. This is called a kick plate. And what it is for is when you're going down the highway and debris is getting kicked up by your vehicle, instead of it marring and damaging the surface, it hits this plate of steel and it just dings up the plate of steel, which is tougher than what I assume this is fiberglass right here. So this is what's called the tongue of the trailer that this thing's built on top of. And you've got some tongue space being utilized. Your batteries are in here. Let's see here, there it is. Yeah, I left it unlocked. Okay. So your batteries are here. They've got a little bit of weatherproofing. You got your various connects in for that solar trickle charger. And then you also got the hookup so that when you're connected to regular power, or shore power as it's called, that they get charged in that way. Okay, you're gonna be nice? Okay, fine, we don't have to be nice. If you've ever seen this and you wondered what this is all about, what that is for is if you install a weight distributing hitch. Now, I don't have one. I didn't need one because I have a heavier truck, but let's say you were using something in a 150 class or a 1500 class to pull this, you might want that. It lets you pull a little bit heavier, safer. Inside of here, we've got, get these guys loose. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. This is our propane. So you've got a pair of, I believe, they are 20-gallon tanks, and they are hooked together with a manifold right down yonder, right there. And you need that for, well, you don't, depending on your situation, you can use these for your heat. You can use these for your hot water. You can use these to keep your refrigerator going. So they are designed so you can be completely off grid, at least, for a week or two before you're going to need to fill tanks, which is kind of nice. These are safety chains if you've never towed before. These are, in case the worst happens, your hitch comes loose. This is what keeps it connected to the vehicle as you pull, so hopefully you notice and, you can slow down safely. To go with that, I don't know where it ran off to, but there's actually a pin that is an emergency pull pin. I think mine is broken. Oh, there it is. I see it. Show it to you guys. This guy here. And what's supposed to happen is you hook this on your tow vehicle, and if the trailer gets loose on you, this is supposed to pull, and it triggers the electronic brakes that are built into the camper, into the trailer that's underpinning the camper, so that it will come to a stop safely and not careen around uncontrolled on the road. Got a 7-pin connector, and this again connects to your tow vehicle. This allows you to power. It lets you, if your vehicle is set up for it, it'll let you charge your batteries when you're going down the road. It also is what runs your lights, your turn signals, all that jazz. And it is what allows you to control the electronic brakes in the vehicle, as long as you have a brake balance controller. That's something you got to set up on your tow vehicle. And most places worth their salt are not going to let you leave unless you've got all that set up. They won't let you complete the sale. This is pretty important. This is your jack. This one is electronic, which is really nice, so you don't have to crank your arm off. And what's also nice about it is you've got this bubble level to let you know where you stand, not only on your vertical and also on your left and your right. The bubble is right dead in the center. You're perfectly level and you're ready to put your stabilizing jacks down. If it's not, you got to tune it a little bit. Right now it's close enough that I can run everything, but it's not quite perfect, but it's good enough because I'm not doing anything, right? All right. So you've got more access to your storage over here. What's nice about over here is it gets you a little bit better visibility on your, I believe that's your freshwater tank in there. So that's nice. And this is your freshwater tank fill right here. And this is for if you can't get connected to a water source and you're just out in the middle of nowhere and you've got no access to nothing. This is your freshwater source. That's what that is. Got ourselves a window, got some more lights. Got some goodies under here too. This is your black water drain right here. And you use this handle for it. That is why it is black. And then this should be gray water, I believe. I'll have to double check that. But the handle's a different color for a reason, so you don't make an oops there. Looks like I've got another cutoff, or no, that's your freshwater drain right there. Notice how that handle's white. So that's freshwater. And then this one is gray, so that's your gray water, and that's your black water. And that's where you would hook up to drain the tank, which is nice. I'll go into those tanks in a second about what they're all about. So this is pretty neat. It's actually like a little outdoor shower. It doesn't have a ton of flow, but it is nice. It does work, and it does have hot and cold water. I don't have the water hooked up right this very second because it was below freezing last night, and I did not want my faucet to ice up, so I had it trickling. Okay, this is not a fill. I'm trying to remember what this is. It's a flush for something. I don't remember what though. Maybe somebody in the comments can let me know. This is our connection for a water source. As you can see, I have it connected here. This is a regulator that you use to make sure that you don't overpressurize your plumbing and then blow it out. Like many things in the world, there's a bazillion different standards, and on RVs and campers, the pressure standards are lower than your standard house plumbing. So if you don't have something to step down the pressure, there is a chance you will blow your pipes, which would be just entirely not fun. All right, this is the exhaust for the furnace that makes your heat. And then this is the back side of the refrigerator. If you take this panel off, this is useful for servicing as is. It's also useful if you are using the gas function of the fridge. This is what's called your connection to shore power. It can be a proper 240 volt 30 amp connection, which is what this is supposed to be. Though in my case, if you follow the magic cord, I have it going into an adapter and then going into a 10 gauge 15 amp cord that goes to a 15 amp 120 volt plug over there. Oh, I forgot, it's not 240 volt in this application, it's 120 volt. If you get something bigger and nicer, it'll be 240 volt, but that's not the setup here. And this is not going to let you run everything at once, but you know, if you just wanted to only run the air conditioning or only use the microwave or something like that, it'd work. And that's what I have it for. These are connections for satellite and cable. If you're like at an RV park and they offer those amenities, you hook up there and it passes through in. All right, so that leaves us with checking out the roof. All right, welcome to the roof. Now this is an EPDM roof, and it's in pretty decent shape. It's about halfway through its lifespan, and once if you can keep this under cover, it'll last a lot longer, and that is the plan. I got to move the F100 is the thing, and we're trying to hold off on that until we can extend the pole barn here, because the F100, you know, I don't want it rusting away in the yard. That would be very sad. I don't want that to be how that vehicle ends. So we're up here. This is good because it lets you service things like your air conditioner, which is what that is. This is the vents for her. I don't remember. I want to say the refrigerator. And then you come over here. This is going to be a vent for the fan in the bathroom. That's why there's a cowling over it. Oven vent maybe. Not sure. I don't think so. Not sure what that's for. You get a skylight. You get 2 skylights, which they actually do let a surprising amount of light in, which is nice. And you've got another vent for a fan that's in the bathroom. And then beyond that, you have, those are solar connections, additional solar to let you charge up more. So out of the box, I think that's just like a 10-watt panel. It's not much at all. But as you can see here, you can go up to 450 watts, which that's not nothing. I mean, you're not running your microwave or your AC, but in full sun, that lets you run your lights and a TV and some fans, you know. And one thing that Princess Craft RV was willing to do for me that was really nice is they went and they redid all this ceiling here. And it's still, because the weather's been so cold, it's still not fully cured up, but we got it cured up enough I could go down the highway. That was an adventure and a half. Last thing over here is this is your antenna. It is a powered antenna. So I believe it will actually it can rotate for signal, but it definitely picks up quite a bit. I'm able to pick up quite a few over-the-air channels with this guy, more than you would normally get. My van, Enigma over there, also has an antenna to pick up over the air, and it'll pick up maybe 10, and then this one will pick up 30 or 40 in the same location. So it's pretty handy. So you might ask, well, what needs to happen to this? Why are you even mentioning this on the channel? Well, the awning's got to be replaced, and let me show you that. Most likely, see here, awning extend. Here we go. I mean, all the mechanisms work fine, but the awning itself is just really worn. So that's full extension, and you'll see this is where it sat in the sun all those years, and it's kind of torched. So show you what that fully looks like. So it's a pretty good extension, and you'll also see some of the edges are getting torn on it. There you go. It's quite a bit. I'll let it dry out. It's not a bad thing for it to do. But other than that, you may be saying, what do you need to do to the outside? Why is this on the channel? Well, we've got to reseal this. You'll see basically there is caulk around everything, and I mean everything. And all of it, this thing's 10 years old, so all of it needs to be redone. So we got to work on that. The outdoor speakers, the 2 speakers here, don't appear to be working. I got to work on that. The emergency trailer brake wire, I think, is not working quite right, so I need to work on that. And those are things I just need to work on. There's definitely upgrades that you can do for a camper, for an RV, to do all sorts of fun and interesting things with. Another thing I do need to figure out, oops, forgot to point this out. This is where you can get hot and cold water hookups if you have that available at an RV park. That's what this is all about. I would like to figure out also how I'm going to handle the Blackwater situation, because that's essentially sewage and I can't dump it in the yard. I would not want to dump it in the yard, but folks are going to be living in this, and well, they're going to need to use the bathroom. So let's take a look inside and let's talk about what's inside and the tankage and, you know, what else maybe we can work on. One thing I forgot to note as we get ready to step in here, you do have this handle to help you out, and you can just lift it up, fold it to the side for when you're going down the road. And one thing I forgot to mention for upgrades for the back is in the sides, is I want to install a camera monitoring system so that when I'm going down the road, I have full visibility around the sides and the back. That was something that was kind of tricky business on the way back home, is I could sort of see out of one mirror. I couldn't see out of my other mirror at all. And my wife was with me, so she acted as a spotter, which was nice. But, you know, if I need to drive alone, I need to be able to make sure I can do it safely. So in we go. Get some lights on in here, because I'm getting quite a bit off the skylight, but okay, that's the outdoor light, if I remember right. Or maybe that is. Yeah, that is. So most of the lights in here, they're not attached to a wall switch. You have to turn them on by hand. So anyway, this thing is not super big, but they laid it out pretty well. So this is your eating area, study area, whatever you're doing, right? They call it the U-shaped dinette. And what you can do, if you need to squeeze in a little bit more sleeping space, is this will come off and you disconnect it down here. And then you take this, you lay it across the hole in the U, and then you take your pillows and lay that across, and it turns into something about like a twin bed. They claim you can put 2 people here. I think that's a bunch of baloney, but that's the claim. You get a lot of storage. You've got 120 volt power right there, which is pretty nice. You get an actual drawer here, which is nice. And then over here, this is for 2016, I feel this is pretty neat. You have a direct USB charge, and then you have a 12 volt port like you find in a car, right? And you can plug whatever into that, and it sits right here. So, you know, it's convenient too if you're sitting here working. I've plugged my phone into this. It does charge, and it doesn't charge slowly, so it's got enough power going to it that it'll charge up a modern device in a decent amount of time. Over here you've got a table that'll extend to give you more prep room for your kitchen. There's a lot going on right up in here. This is your furnace. That is your carbon monoxide detector, and that one is current and good. This is also really handy. This is your vertical axis, your y-axis level. You want that bubble kind of centered on the 0 if you want to be using things. Your refrigerator, which is right here, it needs to be within 3 degrees of 0 on both planes to work correctly. The electricity part, I think, works fine. This is a little more forgiving, but if you're running on gas, because you'll see this has an auto and off and a gas. And on auto, it defaults to electricity. If that's not there, it then tries to use gas to run. You got your temp settings, or you can just turn it off to save gas and electricity. You do have a freezer as well, and it does work. Got some ice back there. So you have all that going on. You've got some coat hooks right here, and then you have your entertainment center, which TV's not huge, but it is on an arm, so it can swing out and pivot depending on what you need to do. You also, this is a 12-volt TV, so it can run on the batteries. You don't have to be connected to power or a generator or anything like that. This is where you can hook up to your big antenna on the roof. You do have to turn it on and off, which is what that light and switch is all about. This is a smart USB stick I've plugged in so that this dumb TV is now a smart TV. And you control a lot of the features and functions from over yonder. This is actually the other half of the entertainment center. And, you know, it's not terrible. You've got Bluetooth connect to a phone, and then you can just play music through the speaker system, which you have a speaker back there. You have a speaker next to the bathroom. And that is it for the interior speakers, because there's supposed to be another TV in here, but it's gone. It was mounted at one point. You got one mount point there and there. But you can get music up in here. So that's pretty nice. You can control, you can put a DVD, not a Blu-ray, but you can put a DVD in here and it'll play over there. You can do radio. You can do, it's not bad. You even have a little equalizer built in. It's not terrible. Not great, not terrible by today's standards. And what I found, this is a cheapo smart stick from Walmart. And using that, I can control most of the TV's functions with the smart stick, so you don't need two remotes. I bet that's what this was all about. I bet they had the remote stuck up here. Previous owner. And yeah, it's all right. I could potentially put something bigger here, but you have to be very space conscious, right? There's not a ton of room. Directly above here, this is your air conditioner. The control for it's a little further down. Get a bunch of storage. What's really nice is, maybe they all do this, but you've got a full list out of all the various vendors that have their equipment in here and who you can call if something's going weird, which is really nice. And then over here, you have all your vital statistics. And again, we got tire stuff. We got all sorts of good stuff. You've got a 120 volt plug up there, so you've got some flexibility for what you want to plug in. There's our microwave. That's 120 volt. We got a range fan. We have a range. Range is gasoline. Not gasoline. It's propane. It's gas range. We also have an oven. It runs on gas. I don't know how hungry it is. I've not tried cooking in here yet. And then this is kind of a signature Outdoors RV thing, is they put a knife block up by the oven. That's kind of their jam. You got more power here for more options. More power here for more options. You get the double sink, right? You get the detachable head, hot and cold, all that jazz. I keep pushing this around, but nope, I want that way. Here is the bathroom. Okay, so bathroom. Got a skylight / fan. So you open this all the way up, and then you hit that switch, and turns on the fan. Obvious reasons, right? You got your medicine cabinet, you got a mirror, you got some inception going on. You have a small sink, but it's functional. You get a little hair dryer that came with. I don't believe that was an add-on. You have a GFCI protected 120 volt, right? You got a spot for your toilet paper. You still have to use the special RV toilet paper, but Something that they like to talk about is that this toilet is actually porcelain instead of plastic, which I guess is kind of a big deal in the RV world. It's a 2-stage foot controlled toilet, and this is why you need your black water tank, because you use the bathroom and it's stuff that is sewage, right? So it needs to go into a special tank. That's what the toilet's connected to. But your sink and shower, they're not connected to that. They're going to be connected to what's called a gray water tank, which is stuff that is not sewage, but it's not drinkable anymore either. And then you have your freshwater tank. So those are the 3 tanks, and that's what they do. Check out this. So skylight here is a kind of a dual purpose. On one hand, it lets in a ton of natural light, so you don't need to run the light in here. And on the other hand, if you're a taller person, this gives you a little bit more headroom, right? Without having to raise the entire height of the entire ceiling section here. So you get a little wand. I don't think it's adjustable, but you have a little tiny tub area. I mean, maybe if you want to bathe a doggo or a kid or something. I know I couldn't fit in there. I'm not a very big dude. So little tiny bathroom, but again, it's very functional. And one thing I noticed is it gets its own dedicated heater vent. So when I run the heat, I always forget to do this, but if you leave the door open, the heat circulates a lot better. Otherwise, the bathroom winds up downright toasty compared to the rest of the house. So, moving on. AC and heat controls. Pretty straightforward. Auto fan on. The heat will kick on automatically, or it'll try. So you'll hear it spark and try to catch the furnace. But you need to make sure you have your gas turned on up front, and that you have it set to a temperature where it would turn on. So as you can see, I've just been keeping it at 55 to make sure none of my tanks freeze. I come out here late at night, turn it on, keep it above freezing, turn it back off the next day. So, more storage, AC vintage, and since I did point it out in the bathroom, you do have, it's a furnace vent, give you some scale towards the bottom, and then you have a furnace vent down there for your heat in the master bedroom, or main bedroom. But now that we're in there, let's talk about it. So, first thing you'll notice, there is no door. You get a curtain. It's got a little thing. It works okay. I mean, let's be honest here. This is meant to be a 2-person camper. Can you squeeze in a couple of buddies, maybe 1 or 2 nights over here? Sure. But this is meant to be like a 2-person, 1-person kind of deal. It's not really meant to be a ton of people. So privacy, maybe, outside of making sure you keep people out versus people you want in. Not so much of a thing. Now, it came with this really interesting mattress. I've never seen anything like it. It is one of the things they advertised. It's almost like a memory foam, but even softer than that. And I have actually spent a couple of nights out here because of work-related stuff. And it's pretty comfy. It's not bad. And the furnace works extremely well. It doesn't run very long at all before you get to temp. And I didn't die, so we're not leaking carbon monoxide, which is kind of nice. Another thing that's really nice is you can lift this up even with the bed attached. Look familiar? Yeah, we've seen that, haven't we? But this is the entirety of your freshwater tank, and you also have storage here, right? So, good stuff there. Let's get this back down. Also, it'd be a great... Ooh, okay. Let's not do that again. Great way to tuck in your bed sheets. And you get that's not a light turned on. That is just light leaking in from the front assembly there. And you've got power back here. You've got a little bit of shelf space. And then you've got storage. You have another smoke alarm there. And you have a fan, so maybe it's the kind of weather you don't need the air conditioner and you just want a fan. You can do the same thing as the bathroom. You open this up, and then you can control the fan's speed with this. And you turn the fan on, and you can even control the fan's direction depending on if it's summer or winter and you're wanting to pull in outside air or exhaust out inside air, right? You have these. If you've not seen them before, they're kind of, I call them captive blinds. You can slide them up and down. I have them in my van. And that is about it. You do get, this nice big window. So if you park appropriately, you get a really nice view. All the windows in here have those captive blinds. So the skylights have those captive blinds. So you can button this all up to eliminate most of your light sources. And there you go. That's the inside. One thing to note is that this is what is considered a 4 seasons camper, meaning it has thicker, heavier insulation that is intended for use for all 4 seasons. And we're also talking up north. I believe the Outdoors RV is headquartered in Oregon, I think. So one thing that's kind of neat is you can, if I can get this out of the way, there we go. Did you see this? This is actually the wall, right? That's your insulation. And they use wall remnant to make the seats of the dinette. So if you ever wondered, well, what's the insulation like? Well, there's your answer. That's what this is. So it's pretty good. I can set the heat in here at night and it doesn't run that much. And when I come out here in the morning, it's still pretty warm. And even when I don't run it, and it's just the natural temperature changes through the day, it'll either be cooler for a while or hotter for a while, depending on when I pop in here on the time of day. Okay, so what do we need to do to the inside? A couple of small things. Velcro's worn out, need to fix that. But the biggest thing is, you may have noticed it's very rustically themed in here. It's very dark, very dark woods, dark colors, dark accents. And for long-term habitation, my wife would like it to be brighter in here. So she wants to come in, she wants to paint. I will do everything in my power to keep her from getting the wallpaper out, because wallpaper is the devil, and I will fight you over that. And she wants to just lighten the place up, maybe change some of these details. It probably won't be anything too crazy, mainly lightening things up, because while I'm sure there's an entire ecosystem of parts for this camper, I also imagine it gets extremely expensive if we start diving into that ecosystem to try to swap things out. So it'll mainly be, what can we do to kind of brighten the place up, make it look better. We might invest in upgrading some of this technology, right? Because you can get, this is a 120 microwave, so as long as it's small enough, you can grab any old microwave you want from anywhere and drop this in. Though we may want an RV one, because now that I'm looking closely, it looks like it came with extra brackets to make sure it stays held in place while we're doing that. One other thing that I'm definitely doing, I haven't decided where yet, but I got this 22-inch smart TV. It's meant for Marines, so it's It can run on 12 volt. It's also good for RV. And I'm just going to try to mount it here so that if you're in the, you know, you're on your bed, maybe you want to watch a little TV for bed, you can do that. And we've got our 12 volt plug here. We have our cable connection to the satellite here. And we have 120 if you want to do a 120 TV, right? But it's a 22 incher. It should just barely fit on this wall. We zoom out here. It's not a huge space. And I'm going to have to get another arm to go here. So I got to figure that out. Or alternatively, if I can figure out all the connections, see all these connections here? That's how a lot of the functionality goes from this TV over to the entertainment system over there. And I could just move this into the bedroom and then stick this here. If I can make it fit, that'll be the challenge. But other than that, this is pretty nice in the sense that I don't have to do a lot to it. It's pretty much ready to go as is, which is why I paid what I paid for it. A couple of other things to point out as we move through. You know, you got some light switches here for internal, external lights. And then you have your tank checkers to let you know if a tank is full or empty. So you also have a battery indicator. So for example, the battery is full. The freshwater tank's about half full. Actually, that is, says a third. And the black water tank is pretty empty, which is what we want. And the gray water tank is pretty empty, which is what we want right now. And then what this is all about is if you're not connected to an exterior source, you turn that on. That gives you a water pump, so you have pressure for your fresh water. This determines if your water heater is going to be electric or gas, right? So you can, that's how you turn it on when it's electric. And then if you want it to run on gas, you use that switch. And that's what that's all about. Alrighty, folks, I know that one was a bit long, but just wanted to go through it because I kind of get geeky about stuff like this. So if you found this video interesting, if you found it entertaining, if you learned something, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. That does help me to grow the channel and bring you more projects like this. Please also leave a comment. I like to read them, I like to learn from them, and I especially like to reply to them. And also, guys, I make mistakes, so you don't have to. And I'll see you guys in the next one.